Greetings and salutations, Dave, or I guess technically I should call you Dead on Dave. This is Christopher Daniels.
Hey everyone, it's the Native American Tonka. Want to give a big shout out to Dead on Dave.
Dave, this is Leon White, Big Van Vader.
Dead on Dave. What's up, man? It's the coach.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and I know when I want to keep up with the latest in wrestling news from around the world, I check in with Dead on Dave Productions. He covers a wide variety of wrestling topics, including the career of the hardcore legend. Don't miss it. Dead on Productions. Yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave, and we are coming at you live from Germany. Now, I did not do the live review last night of CWC and NXT, and I regret not doing that because holy shit. But this is a testament to just how good last night's CWC was. NXT was NXT, and we'll talk about NXT, and you know it was great. I loved Shinsuke Nakamura's part. There was some slop and whatever. But CWC last night stamped its name on wrestling, man. If you have enjoyed the CWC up until last night, you're now an absolute raving lunatic fan. Just how good. A raving lunatic fan now. They have taken you and grabbed you by your nuts, and now you cannot get away because both matches last night on CWC were exceptional. Exceptional. But Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander was downright special. Now, I know I have a little bit of a history of putting things over rather hard. I'm an overseller. I know that. I can do that sometimes. But there are not enough superlatives to talk about Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander. For a match with no build, for a match with no extra spice or anything, it's about as good as it gets. It does not get much better than what we saw out of Alexander and Ibushi. It's by far the best match of the tournament. And that's even better than last week's Gargano and Ciampa match, which I thought was fantastic. It was great. But this match with Alexander and Ibushi not only furthers Ibushi's mystique and how he is one of the probably top 5 wrestlers on the planet, but it instantly created Cedric Alexander, who was very impressive in the first round, even more so in the second. I mean, watching this match and watching how Cedric Alexander moves and how he just positions himself and seamlessly transitions all around the ring. One name screamed at me, just kept screaming at me, AJ Styles. AJ Styles. I am looking at a young AJ Styles. That's what it felt like. The aggression in which he hits moves with, the quickness that he hits moves. I mean, he just reminds me of a very young AJ Styles. And then after the match, to have the match be what it was is one thing. But then afterwards, to have Triple H come out and acknowledge the fans chanting, "Please sign Cedric," that was something really special. Triple H comes out there, shakes the kid's hand. You could tell the kid had no idea what was happening. And it was a really special moment. It's something you don't get to see a lot in wrestling. And it's just another example of Triple H acknowledging, not exactly, sucking the fans' cock or anything like that. Like some people will say, oh, Triple H is just sucking the dick of the fans. Triple H recognizes what is great, and he makes sure to get it on his product. That's why NXT is successful. That's why CWC is amazing. That's why there are current aspects, not all aspects, but current aspects, some in WWE that is looking very bright. Not all, of course, because not everything is fantastic with what Triple H does, obviously, or maybe he's not allowed to do more, whatever the case may be. Not everything is going to be perfect all the time. Not everything is going to be a winner. And just like not everything is going to fail all the time. However, the things that he does, the big things, the gestures like this with Cedric Alexander gives you all the hope in the world for WWE's long-term future, or at least CWC and NXT's. you really can't say enough about Ibushi on his own. I mean, we could talk about Cedric Alexander to the cows come home, but we got to talk about the winner too. It's what Ibushi was able to do with a guy like Alexander is just amazing. I mean, nobody really knows who Cedric Alexander is. I mean, some people do. He's a deep cut type of wrestler, an athletic freak, and he had a great first round. But I don't think anybody was expecting to see what we just saw. And that's just one of those cool little things about a tournament like this. It's just something you don't get to see in other arenas. And Ibushi seeming to have to go to the deepest part of the well of his repertoire and, of his reserve tank. That was awesome, man. I like that it almost went the full 20 minutes. I actually kind of wish it would have went to about 19 and a half minutes. So we'd have had a little bit of that heart pounding anxiety of, is this match going to get in right under the wire or whatever? That would have been really cool. Just a little bit more, but still pretty damn special, man. Pretty damn special. It's one of those things that I know I'm going to remember for a long time. In fact, it made me go back and watch Cedric Alexander's first round match again, just because I want to see if I saw some of the things in this match that I saw in the first. I wanted to make sure that this was not some type of fluke. And let me tell you, this is not a fluke. This kid can wrestle, man. He's fast, he's agile, he's aggressive. There's something special about him. I don't know if sky's the limit, but I do know this. The talent is there. He just reminded me of a young AJ Styles. And Ibushi is Ibushi. If you haven't known Ibushi up until this point, go back to Wrestle Kingdom 9 and watch him and Shinsuke Nakamura and just sit there and just start masturbating feverishly. This match tonight, though, Alexander and Ibushi put it all over my face, neck, and chest, and I wanted more. Man, just give me a bukkake of just excellence. It was amazing. I cannot begin to, I don't think you can oversell a match like this. I'm not even going to put it in aspects of greatest match I've ever seen or anything like that, because I do tend to do that a lot. So I think it kind of bastardizes it a little bit, but it's up there as one of those special things that you just haven't really seen in a long time, Chris Cressa in the chat is talking about that brain buster that Cedric Alexander hits, which we don't see a lot of brain busters anymore. You don't see them. They're dangerous, man. Alexander pulled that thing out, and it was gorgeous. And then that kick to the head was just vicious. I was unbelievably impressed. Thank you guys, everybody who's joining me right now live. I appreciate that. I know it's early up in the States. It's a little bit later on in the day. However, I appreciate you guys being here, supporting the channel, and supporting wrestling, man, because that's what we're here for. That's what we love. And last night is a clear reminder of that. Now, let's talk about NXT a little bit. Let's go back, rewind, flip it down, and reverse it just a little bit. Talk about NXT, and then we'll go back into CWC, because I also want to talk about that other match with Grand Metalik and Tajiri, which was also phenomenal. But let's get into NXT. I was not overly blown away with NXT. There was a lot of slop last night, a lot of slop that I'm really not used to seeing. I think we got our first real shaky sighting of Asuka. Bayley was so good in her promo, and I understand and I give benefit of the doubt to speaking ability and not being her native tongue and everything with Asuka. But Asuka kind of looked lost there with Bayley, and it was first chink in the armor for Asuka, I think. I mean, really, it's the first time that I was not just completely going crazy for something that Asuka did. And you guys know I love me some Asuka. There's nothing about Asuka I don't like. Nothing. And so I was a little disappointed with that segment. I thought Bayley was a little bit too hype there, but I understand why she was hyped. I don't know. The segment just kind of fell flat for me. I'm not a big fan of contract signings anyway. I didn't like Bayley getting out then back into the ring. These are all nitpicky things altogether. It just wasn't the way I wanted the show to start off. I don't know. Just kind of fell flat for me a little bit. After that, we got the Authors of Pain, who I am really liking, and they are beating the crap out of some jobbers, which is fine. The Authors of Pain are still green. Still green. I mean, that's a big problem, man. Still green. But brutal. Man, they hit some tandem moves that are just, they're almost Hart Foundation-esque. I mean, people forget about how good the Hart Foundation was as a tag team. They were able to hit these tandem moves that you just didn't see all the time. And while the Authors of Pain are certainly more impactful, it reminds me of that. The creativity in how they use the moves as a tag team, it just reminds me of a more ferocious Hart Foundation. And I really did like seeing them. And I love Paul Ellering just being there. I wish he had a bigger role. I wish he actually said something, kind of put them over a little bit, a la like he did with the Legion of Doom and stuff. But hopefully that'll come with time. I don't know. I enjoyed the fact that TM61 came out to make the save. Obviously, we're going to get something out of those two in the future. I kind of like that. I love TM61. I think it's a good, perfect feud for them. I don't think they're going over it, which is a little bit of a shame because TM61 might be the most talented tag team in WWE right now outside of, American Alpha. But TM61 is unbelievably talented, and I have a feeling they're going to get beaten up really bad by the Authors of Pain when they do have a match. We'll see. After that, we got CN. We got Andrade, man, and versus Angelo Dawkins, who I don't even really understand why he's still around, even though I like watching him with the double headbands. It's funny to me. But Andrade... I want to like Andrade. I feel like I should like Andrade. I just don't. His music does nothing for me. His look does nothing for me. I am starting to understand why he was under a mask for as long as he was, even though one of the things Triple H said about him is he doesn't understand why anyone would ever put a mask on him. I'm starting to get it, to be completely honest. It was... I don't know. There's just something that is not connecting with him. It's just the whole vibe. I hate the suspenders. I just don't like his presentation. His in-ring work is not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but he feels like a guy who shouldn't be as green as he still is at times. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. It's just a little weird. After he's done, out comes Mr. Glorious, which I've got to say, after hearing it again and listening to it more and more, there is no more half in, half out on Bobby Roode's theme music. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's the best thing ever, man. And it fits Bobby Roode so much. I wish Bobby Roode did not look so much like Triple H, though. Does anyone else feel the same way? I wish he didn't look as much like Triple H as he does. He moves like him. He looks like him. He delivers lines like him. And I understand that's probably a reason why he's there, to be completely honest. Triple H likes that. So I don't know, man. It's a little frustrating that Andrade is not a bigger star yet, or it doesn't seem like the crowd cares about him yet. So I think it's going to affect Bobby Roode's debut match. His debut match, whatever you want to call it. It should be fine, but it's going to be less impactful because Andrade has not gotten over yet. For an undefeated wrestler, for the type of wrestler that he is, he should already be there to be in a match with Bobby Roode at Brooklyn, and he's not yet. And that's a little bit of a worrying thought, but slightly worrying. I'm sure it's going to be a good match because I have faith in Bobby Roode. I do. I like Bobby Roode. I'm not in love with Bobby Roode like some people are, but I like Bobby Roode quite a bit. After that, we got backstage. Austin Aries is talking about organic fruit, which is one of the reasons why we love Austin Aries. And he demands a match, and Regal declares that it will be No Way Jose versus Austin Aries, which should be a lot of fun. That match should be a surprisingly good match. A hell of a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Got a feeling Aries is going to take another loss, but No Way Jose really does need the bump here, so we'll see. After that, I really started to have an issue with the show, man. I really started to have an issue with the show after that. Billie Kay and Liv Morgan was probably the worst women's wrestling match that NXT has ever shown. It's definitely up there. It was painful, and Liv Morgan, it kind of tends to follow her wherever she goes. These type of matches, she's sloppy. She's fast. She's sloppy. She doesn't take time to set up moves properly. Billie kept getting hung up in certain areas, and it felt like it was because of unpreparedness of Liv Morgan. Maybe that's unfair of me, but I don't know. It was sloppy, and it really only got sloppy at the halfway point. I thought the first half of the match was actually pretty good, and I really like Billie Kay. But, God, it felt like even the first half of the match, it was just edited really smoothly to kind of make it look better than it actually was. From what I read from people that were there, it was an absolute shit show to see live. So, I don't know. It really didn't do anything for me. I'm very disappointed with that match. And I'm not used to saying that about anything on NXT. Anything. So, after that, we got Samoa Joe and Mojo Rawley, but not before we got a nice little... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I did skip a match, I think. We got a vignette for Ember Moon, which, of course, is Athena. I'm very excited about seeing her debut. I'm a little worried about this gimmick. It's a little strange looking, but I'm going to give it a pass because we're going to see what's going to happen at NXT TakeOver. So when she makes her debut. After that, we got Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa versus Patrick Clark. Yes, that Patrick Clark and Tucker Knight. Patrick didn't have the gimmick that people have been talking about where he was supporting Trump and all of that, but he didn't really have any time to establish it either. But now that I think about it, his trunks were a little in that same motif, but I don't know. That's just reading into it. The match was really solid. It was quick. It was fast. It was very well done. Gargano and Ciampa just being that very well-oiled machine. And they don't get enough credit either. I just called TM61 one of the best tag teams in the world. I think Gargano and Ciampa is right in that same class. They're fantastic together. They seem to be on the same wavelength. And now that they've had that incredible clash on CWC, they seem to even be more amazing when you watch them. It really is a special thing to see. After that, we got Mojo Rawley versus Samoa Joe. I can't take anything Mojo Rawley does seriously. I can't fucking take anything Mojo Rawley does seriously. Nothing about him makes me go, oh, yeah, Mojo Rawley. No, nothing. He did beat the hell out of Samoa Joe, though, which I don't know was the best idea in the world. I like the way Samoa Joe made a comeback, obviously. But I don't know if having Mojo kind of push Samoa Joe as hard as he did was the smartest thing in the world going into a match with Shinsuke Nakamura. Because if Mojo was able to put Samoa Joe on his heels that much, then Shinsuke should be able to run through him. But that might be devaluing Mojo a little bit. Because Mojo's a big guy, man. Huge guy. So he's impactful. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough one. NXT didn't blow me away by any stretch, but I did enjoy it. It was not a hard hour to watch. Now, I think if we would have saw the same type of things for another hour or 2 more hours, it would have been too much. But because it's an hour long, you don't get burned out by it, even when it's not great. And then getting the finish that we got, the ending with Nakamura taking the nose of Joe, that kind of really put it out on a very high note. You got to love everything Shinsuke does. So that was really cool. And once again, Samoa Joe sells himself as this major goddamn badass, considering 10 goddamn guys were holding him back. And that was kind of cool. So I like the way it ended. I almost forgot about it. Thank you, Chris Cressa, for writing about it in the chat, because I almost forgot about it, to be completely honest. Somebody asked in the chat... Reyes Cruz says, how much weight have you lost? I need an update. Well, I've been updating on Twitter and everything. You can follow me at that on Dave V. I did do my weigh-in yesterday, and I am down to 144.6 kilograms, which is 318 pounds. Yes, I'm under 320. I'm no longer a 320-pounder, kids. So that means in 9 weeks, I've gone from 350 pounds all the way down to 318. I've got a long way to go, but I'm very proud of my progress up to this point. So very happy about that. All right. After the NXT stuff, which I did, like I said, I enjoyed, didn't blow me away. I knew that CWC was going to deliver. When it's promoted to only be 2 matches, you got to have high hopes, and I certainly did. And I was not disappointed. Tajiri and Grand Metalik, I was shocked at how good this match was. Look, Tajiri, even at his advanced age, and he is pretty goddamn old, he just does everything well. He still moves very well for his age and everything. He's a little doughy and all of that, but still very, very good at what he does. He knows how to make younger talents just shine a little bit more. And Grand Metalik, while only 27, has been in the wrestling game for a very long time. And he really put on a show last night. I thought it was very impressive. And it's unfortunate that that match is going to be forgotten. That match will be forgotten, and it's a damn shame. It's a shame because it was a very, very good match, and the crowd loved it. But people are going to forget it because of the main event, because of Kota Ibushi and Cedric Alexander. It was just one of those matches that, I mean, you kind of get lost in time. You know, it felt like Ricochet and Will Ospreay in a little bit. I got to be honest. If I had to guess, it seems like they kind of modeled this match after that, just with more selling. And I feel that's the one aspect that was missing from Ricochet and Will Ospreay, that huge match in New Japan. Great match, but I feel that there was just no selling in it and kind of really took you out of the match. This one had emotion to it. Cedric Alexander coming so close to pinning Ibushi so many times. The pauses in between, even in a 17, 18-minute match, whatever it turned out to be, to have that many pauses that we did, not take away from any of the action, was amazing. I was very, very, very impressed with that match. And like I said, it is unfortunate that Tajiri and Grand Metalik is going to be forgotten. But this is just how the CWC works. It's why they're doing 2 matches on, probably from here on out, I'd have to guess, 2 matches on each second round show. It's a good way to spotlight your guys and everything, and it should be a lot of fun going forward. It's going to be great to see Grand Metalik going forward if he's going to sign with WWE after this tournament. I mean, he's still around, but I think he's on a collision course with Jack Gallagher, which he probably will not win. They seem to be very high in Gallagher. But they should be high on Grand Metalik as well. I mean, just some of the transitions that we saw out of these guys was just really, really cool. Things you don't see all the time. It was just a lot of fun, man. It was just great. It was great. Chris Cressa just said in the chat, if the cruiserweights are allowed to do the same things they're doing in the CWC on Raw, it's going to be amazing. Agreed. If the first hour is just dedicated to cruiserweights and, you know, we get 2 or 3 matches in there, I think it's going to be a fantastic, shining success. And hopefully it will be. Only time will tell on that. But I really enjoyed both shows last night. I enjoyed CWC and NXT. I thought they did a good job. NXT was a little bit lackluster as far as like by NXT standards, but they're going through a time of transition. You know, we got a few guys who we don't feel is going to be around very much longer. We got some people who are being built up, but I think that there's enough talent there that we're going to see supplemented quite a bit. The women's division is a little bit of a worry because we know who we've already lost and who we're probably going to lose very soon. There's just not a whole hell of a lot of depth left, and they're going to have to restock very soon. And people like Billie Kay cannot afford to have matches like she had last night. Can't happen. Can't happen. Because they need to reestablish that division. Athena's going to help. Ember Moon is going to help, but they need to reestablish that division. They need to restock it. And Billie Kay is going to be a big part of that, man. She's got a good look. She is a good wrestler, but maybe Liv Morgan just needs to go. I don't know. I have no idea. So we'll see. We'll see. It was a very fun show. What did you guys think of the 2 hours? I'm going to combine them both. And if CWC is on its own, I give CWC a 9.5. I don't even need to get scientific. Commentary was great. Audio was great. There was no vignettes, so I don't have to worry about that. Production was fantastic, so we'll just lump it in there. And the wrestling was just unbelievably orgasmic, you know? So 9, maybe even a 9.5 for CWC. NXT probably a little bit lower, around a 7. I don't have super big problems with NXT overall, other than a little bit of slop here and there. But I do really enjoy some of the things that they were able to do to establish things going forward. We had a whole bunch of matches created for NXT Brooklyn, which is great. So Brooklyn, the card looks very good. I don't know if it's as good as it is last year, but it's quite close. I love Probably the main event, I'd have to assume it won't be the women this time, even though you could make a case it should be Bayley and Asuka, but I have a feeling it's going to be Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura. That main event is up there with any main event that you can put together. So it was a good show. So I'm going to give 7. I'm going to give it a 7, and then CWC a 9, maybe even a 9.5. I mean, maybe even a 9.5. It was that good. In 2 matches, there's not a lot to fuck up. I love the vignettes that they do in CWC with the beforehand, the build-up. Nothing will be as good as the Ciampa Gargano package, but still very solid stuff. I did enjoy it. So very, very good. I don't know if anybody wants to call in and get their voice heard today, but that's about all I have on these 2 shows from last night. But I'd love to hear from you guys. If you want to call in, now's the time. On Skype, David Vancura, DAVIDVANCURA, or of course use the number 702-751-2902. Now's the time. If not, I'm going to get up out of here and then decide what I'm going to do with the rest of my day. I think I'm going to go Pokemon hunting, but I could be persuaded into doing a Pokemon live stream in just a little bit, maybe even trying out that Pokemon Uranium that everyone's talking about, and that could be a lot of fun too. So there's, it's coming. I feel it. I have an epic sneeze. It's not coming. I don't know. But yeah, so we'll see that. And then, of course, tonight, live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Nerd and the Jerk. Jake Link and I will be here, and we're going to get into our F the Olympics spectacular. It should be a lot of fun. So I'm very excited about that as well. So it looks like we're not going to get any calls, and that's completely fine. I understand that it's very, very early in the States, so not a big deal there. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of CWC and NXT. I kind of had a brain fart there. Hope you guys enjoyed the copious review. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so. And we'll see you next time right here on Dead on Dave Productions. Like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next time. Keep it copious, folks. And as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. See you next time. Peace.